I stunned Warner last night.
Oh,
we were on Afterburner last night, and I stunned him when I let him know about what the standings are.
Yeah.
And Jack's got them because with the 2 points, and okay, I get it. It's November.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of where we were on this team 2-3 weeks ago,
wild, huh?
I get it. It's November, but they're tied for a wild card spot.
Kind of, yeah. There's 2 teams 500 that you don't see in that, and they've played a few more games than other teams.
The point being, Ryan,
right
Jesus Christ, is that they're tied for a wild card spot
Pinder
after losing.
He doesn't like points. He likes points percentage till they're
still. It's just that
they're there, man. They're right there. Yeah,
and you're like, no, like what?
I'm stunned.
Yeah, they're still kind of right there.
It tells you one thing, that it's a pretty shitty pack right now at the bottom half of the Western Conference. And it was last year this time. I think someone had it from a year ago, and it was like someone had one more point than 500. It was like 23 in 22 games. And no one's going to get in with 82 points. That's what 500 is. 500 is your 2 wild cards right now, which is insane. It's going to be a better pace. And so will it be the Flames? Will it be a St. Louis? Will it be Minnesota? Is it the Oilers? Somebody's going to get their shit together and play 600 hockey the rest of it, because 500 never gets you into the playoffs. Like, the only time close was that shortened circus season with Montreal, where they only played 48 or 56 games or something weird. But point being is, you're in the fight. And that's why you're bringing it up. It's like, okay, 2 or 3 teams that have had miserable starts, a quarter of the way through the year, you're only 500, and that's with loser points and shit. You're not out of it.
We had the standings upside down.
We were doing
not long ago,
because they were at the bottom. And
and we were expecting them to stay there.
Yeah. And to be fair, like, they're 4 points from being in the bottom 5 of the league. Like,
I was going to say, they're
probably
the
bottom half, right?
Still close to the bottom than the top. Now, if you want to talk about third in the division, they're a long ways out of that. But
and I think more importantly for me, I'm like I said, I'm stunned by the fact that they're in points wise, maybe points percentage wise they aren't, but you have to give Huska credit.
Big time.
He's gotten them to play. They're playing with a pulse. They're playing with a little bit of purpose. They're trying. I still don't think they're world beaters. No. I think it's going to be an awkward situation moving forward. And it's because Huska has got them to play.
Yeah. He's been a really steady hand here. We haven't seen him fly off the handle. We haven't seen him pander to guys not playing well. He's been disciplining guys, but also it's like he hasn't been railroading guys. I think he's done a really nice job in an incredibly tough spot. They were 2-7-1 the first 10 games. 2 wins in your first 10 in the NHL. Welcome aboard. Hey, fresh air. This team's going to be great this year. No more rain clouds. 2 wins in your first 10. We've seen the blenders going, but it's paid off in a way. They've found lines. They've got some guys going. And I think when you watch the way he's handled stuff, it's been a very purposeful, thoughtful approach. He's not just reacting. He has a plan here.
Mm-hmm. We've used the word dysfunctional a lot the last year and change.
Yeah.
And we talked about it kind of briefly last night. You feel like they're more of a team here right now, that each line goes over the boards. They're all pulling on the rope the same way. They feel more like there's some cohesion finally. And maybe it's the lines that you've got that Kadri line sort of figured out, at least for the time being. And Huberdeau with Backlund, it is what it is. Better. But it just feels like they're more invested and there's some care.
It's bad. That's the thing that I keep going back to. 2 wins in the first 10, and there wasn't a game. They won the first game, and the
goalie was great.
Goalie was good. Like, it was Deadsville. They weren't. They were giving you nothing to think that they would actually play with any heart.
They had the 5-game road trip. Not a single team on that road. He made the playoffs last year, and they come back with 3 of a possible 10 points. And you're like, they could be as bad as anyone not named San Jose if they're going to play like that. And Huska's found a spot where Kadri's been a really, really good contributor. Now, give Zary credit, but give Kadri credit. He's playing great. He's playing like a $7 million center. There's no issue right now with Nazem Kadri. And he's found the best spot in the lineup for Jonathan Huberdeau. It's still not what you expect for $10.5 million, but it's a serviceable forward now versus like, what do we even do here? And at the same time, he's gotten a way to get Sharon Govich into the top 9 off that 4th line. AJ Greer's been a lovely find, and it feels like he and the GM are working in harmony. Last year, there was a lot of players that the GM would have wanted to see in the lineup, and the coach and he weren't on the same page. I don't see that happening right now. When we talked about Noah Hannafin on power play 1 last year, I feel like that's a GM and a coach on the same page, if you know what I mean.
I was thinking about that last night as Greer scores again, and we know what it is. We're not fooled, but they went to the waiver wire and got a guy that's got 4 goals in however many games.
Got more than Johnny.
You know, that's gonna last. Oh, okay. Definitely didn't have that on the bingo card, but I'm with you. I don't think it necessarily changes who they are in the big scope of things. But for the time being, they got out of what looked like a death spiral.
Yep.
And have played themselves into a conversation as of today for to be a bubble team for a playoff spot.
And they, I think, have a better leg to stand on if you're going to make trades or if you're going to make extensions. And I don't think anyone's here rooting for extensions. I think we've seen the power of bring some youth and excitement into the lineup. But when you are down and out, good luck getting anything close to a fair deal. Ask Ken Holland about how making a deal would be right now, if he's even allowed to make a deal right now. You're just getting shitty offers all day.
I get that part of it, but I think it's more difficult for Conroy moving forward.
If they're in the middle, for sure, at the deadline. And again, we're calling it the gauntlet run. They're 2-1. It's not over. There's 12 games left in this, and you're not going to get Dan Vladar first star performances the rest of the way.
But you still don't have the vibe that it's going to be. Again, I go back to they have a pulse.
Yeah,
there was no pulse before, so they were dead. They were on the table. They were done.
Yeah,
like they aren't going to come up with 0 points over the next
for sure
12 games
for sure
because they're actually competing.
Yeah, and if like we said, or I said, I should rephrase. If they're 500 against this group, why not them as a wild card?
Well, you said you were in.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So if it's like, if you can go in these 15 games, your toughest 15 game stretch of the season with lots of travel, 2 back-to-backs in there, you don't have Pelche, you know, it's not like the sky's falling, but it's the toughest stretch of games they're going to have all year. If you can play 500 there really isn't an excuse to not make the playoffs, given that you're already right in that bubble range. You play 500 here, we'd expect you to be better than 500 the rest of the year because this is tougher than the rest of your schedule.
Which doesn't always hold.
It certainly doesn't always work that way, and last year's team especially found ways to let us down, but this year's team's already shown us a different moxie. That's their 4th third-period comeback victory of the year. They had 2 last year.
Yeah.
Like, they have more gumption. They don't just, like, the body language doesn't flop when they give up a goal.
I have no clue but we keep saying, well, they're competing, they're staying in games, they've come 4 third period.
Mm-hmm.
How many were they down by?
2 a couple times.
Okay.
Like Nashville, they're down 2-0, albeit after 1. But they've done a good job of not just quitting, and that's what killed us last year with this group, watching them play in the second half, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was quitting after they got down. I think they were quitting before they started. So.
Sure. Yeah, but bottom line is that body language isn't there.
Not after 10 games.
Yeah, and it's, again, chicken egg. Is it different because you're winning, or are you winning because things are different? I don't know.
Either way, it's better
because they do look like
better, but worse.
If we get to the deadline, right? Like, I don't think Connie's has any rush here to say, okay, we got to figure out what Zadorov's worth, or like, oh my God, like we got to get this extension done. I don't think you're now just in information collection, and you've got 3 months to figure this shit out.
Yeah, and I don't think he's panicking either. That now I got to go and talk to Hannafin again and see if he'll stay. I don't think that's happening either.
No.
I could be wrong,
but you're right. The worst spot for this place to be on March 8th or whenever the deadline is 8th or 9th in the West. And like you said with the division, like they're not close to anyone. It's going to be a wild card or nothing. So good luck with Vegas, LA, Colorado, or Dallas. That's your first round best of 7. I know you saw Vegas last night, but they're not quite right now. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.